Talking all that online, hope you got some soldiers. Talking all that online, hope you got some soldiers. When it's coming on your time, you'll be asking older. I know you talking real crazy, say that shit sober, yeah.
YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Dolph Rocks, real street news, man. I'm back. Hey, man, today, man, you know, first of all, I got to tell you, man, that all my videos are protected by the Fair Use Act. And, you know, it's for educational and entertainment purposes only, you hear me? And, man, today, you know, I got to talk about this young Dolph murder trial. And it has kicked off today, and already a very interesting day, in my opinion. Just coming in, man, seeing the, you know, the beginning phases, man. I mean, this DA don't look very strong. The defense for StraightDrop don't look very strong either. You know, day one is the state of Tennessee versus StraightDrop, you know, Justin Johnson. So, you know, neither one of them parties look very strong, but it got interesting real quick, I have to say, man, as it looked like we dealing with some amateurs on the defense and the DA side, and man, it got interesting real quick, let me say. So, first of all, man, you know, it is the day one of Tennessee, state of Tennessee versus that boy StraightDrop. And one of the first interesting parts of the day is that, you know, the prosecution and the attorney for StraightDrop agreed that they didn't want the family members' faces being filmed, you know, taking pictures of. Of course, the jurors not being recorded or taking pictures of, and the first two witnesses' pictures being taken of, you know, are recording of the first two witnesses' faces. You know what I'm saying? So from the shoulders down, they can get footage of them, but from the shoulders up, the neck up, they could not get footage of the family of young Dolph, the family, I'm assuming, of StraightDrop, the jurors, of course, are the first two witnesses that was called to the stand. That was the first part, interesting part of it. And then also, a boy StraightDrop's lawyer asked the judge a second time, asking for StraightDrop to sit at the desk with him, because as of now, StraightDrop is sitting behind his lawyer, and the judge denied it. The lawyer was trying to say that it was something about, you know, when they was interviewing jurors, he asked the juror a question, you know, would it make a difference if the defendant was sitting with his lawyer or not? And the juror said it would. So he was trying to cite that as the reason to have StraightDrop at that table with him, you know, also to, you know, discuss things, you know, as the case was happening, you know, right beside him. But the judge denied it, denied it, you know, leaving him to sit behind his lawyer. And that is what it is right there. You know, after that, they decided to bring in the jurors, and they brought in the families. And of course, like I said, it was not to record any of those people's faces coming in there. Anybody else is going to be free game, of course, all the other witnesses, unless they come up to someone. But they said definitely this first two witnesses was not going to have their faces recorded. And then the judge went on and gave her instructions to the court, you know what I'm saying, what not to do, not to be on the internet, not to be looking at TV shows, trying to gather their own information outside of the courts, just making sure all of her instructions was read to the jurors. You know, they understand how she would take in evidence, how she would, you know, handle certain situations. After that, they went on and next they went to read the indictment on that boy StraightDrop. You know, it was 3 charges. The first charge being conspiracy to commit murder, with conspiracy with him and Hernandez Govan and Cornelius Smith. And then also the second charge was first degree murder, murder in the first degree, when, you know, being alleged of killing that man Adolph Thornton, rest in peace, young Dolph. And the third charge being possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You know, it's just one of those charges have been stuck on, you know, black males, period, anyways. But that's just something extra to add extra time to this man's charge, which he is already facing life without the possibility of parole if he is convicted on these charges. You hear me? After they read the charges, man, they asked StraightDrop how he pled. He, of course, pled not guilty. Stood up and pled not guilty. His lawyer confirmed to the judge that he was admitting a not guilty plea. And then everything got interesting real quick. The prosecution, the district attorneys, the first thing they did was say they was going to take us to that date, November the 12th, 2021, which we all know is the day, and the specific time, 12:21 p.m., which we know was around the time when Dolph was gunned down allegedly at Makita's cookie shop. Well, now with all the rumors that he was kidnapped, frozen in a truck, and all this, this would immediately go out the window because they had real video footage that we all knew should exist of that man Dolph pulling up with his brother in the camouflage Chevette to Makita's, and video of him going inside. This is the first time that anyone has saw this video outside of Makita's, the cops. This is the first time. So it's right here was, man, it was very crucial. It was alarming, it was sad at the same time because, to see him walking into his demise, I'm saying? It's like almost like watching a movie when you know something's gonna happen. And it was really sad to watch. But they also had footage of him inside Makita's. That was a little off because they show him coming up to the counter, then the camera kind of panned away from Dolph and more towards the employee only. I don't know if that was done by the cops for the judges and the teams, the prosecution and the DA, the defense to not show that part, but it was a little off right there, to be honest. And then, man, the DA, the prosecution immediately brought in the CMG connection, immediately. Saying how Cornelius had brought his drugs from Big Jook, and asking the witnesses that they had brought up about CMG versus PIE. And I thought that was real interesting because that came up really quick. Labeling Big Jook as the number 2 person in CMG, when discussing the feuds between these guys. But that video that they showed once they played on was, of course, 2 shooters jumping out of a white Mercedes, running up and shooting Dolph. And he described them dudes as people who probably never done a hit before. They looked very inexperienced and not knowing what they was doing, but they definitely pulled up. And you can now see that Dolph had his back turned to this whole situation. Maybe when he got shot, he turned around. Something happened like that. Like I said, they do not show the inside of Dolph when he is getting shot and turned around. For him to fall out that window face forward. To see what happened on that side of the mysterious door that everyone is talking about. Even I've talked about that door, it is mysterious. And this makes it more mysterious. We need to see the camera view of that part. But it definitely shows 2 shooters. Not 3, 2. StraightDrop was the driver. Corn was an alleged passenger. And we also seen Marcus return fire with the handgun, not with the Draco. The Draco was in the car. So that we have now saw with our own 2 eyes. Then they went on to talk about Quet, how he was selling corn, ecstasy, how he was a gambler, and how he was shopping rappers like StraightDrop to CMG to get a cut. So he definitely had that CMG connection, and he was implicating CMG very heavily, as was the defense also brought up CMG. Talking about Quet and how he tries to make cuts off rappers, but he painted Quet in a different light. Saying stuff like, you'll see Hernandez Govan come up here and tell a certain story. You'll see Cornelius Smith come up here and tell a story. He pretty much was saying that both of these dudes are gonna rat. He said that these dudes are definitely gonna rat on Justin Johnson. It's what he's telling you. He said why he told the jurors to watch out and pay close attention to both stories, and why aren't they the same then if they're telling the truth. I'm saying, I told y'all in one of my other videos that they're going to try to pin this, one of these, maybe just the overall payment and the whole beef between CMG and paper route between Jook and Dolph, when it's really between Gotti and Dolph. And we're going to get to that point where Gotti's name is going to come up, because the whole CMG connection came up really quick. It went from 0 to 100 real quick, where CMG was being thrown around like a football out in the backyard. You feel me? On a barbecue day, it was being thrown around a lot. The first witness that they called to the stand was Erica Thornton. It's this young Dolph's sister, and they would just ask her some basic questions. You know, was this your brother? Do you miss him? You know, what kind of man was he? You know, yada yada. And this whole line of question, I guess, basically was just for her to identify to the jurors that was her brother, that was in fact Adolph Thornton in the picture, the same man that would be in the videos that they was watching. You know, and that right there was some of the immature and amateur, you know, tactics by the defense and the DA or the prosecution. Just, you know, because that right there, you know, people don't want to just get up there and just do things like that. That right there is a lot. You know, just to do it, potentially make somebody emotional all over again, just to verify who it is. We all know who it is. It's not hard to dispute that. That picture wouldn't be hard to dispute from the autopsy picture and the video up there. You know, I really didn't understand that part of it. That seemed very immature. And then the second witness was someone by the name of Raul Blue Hopkins. And this right here has been Dolph's head of security for 7 years. Going back to the CIAA incident that happened, he was there. He was there for the LA shooting. And he brought up those instances, you know what I'm saying, and talked about them. And they just talked to him a little bit. And it kind of seemed like he got cut short. I think they was questioning each other about the timestamps of a video. And then they went to a break. The final witness on the first day of the Young Dolph murder trial, and this was the most crucial witness of them all, because he is in fact one of the alleged shooters, and he has agreed to testify against his co-conspirator. That boy Cornelius Smith, man, took the stand, and the things that boy Cornelius Smith said was very, very devastating. It definitely was eye-opening. And he just had a lot to say about his involvement and about StraightDrop's involvement with this Young Dolph murder trial. He also had a lot to say about Govan Hernandez, who I've told y'all he also will be testifying against StraightDrop. He will be snitching on his situation, and if I'm correct, he also will be implicating Big Jook, his partner. And by the way, you know, Big Jook's murder, that boy Big Jook's murder, man, I do not believe 100% that was get back for Dolph. I believe equally that it could have been just to get him out the way, to make him the scapegoat in this whole situation, because the one thing they don't want to do is let it get to the real breadwinner, that boy Yo Gotti, because that's who feeds that whole side. And if Jook was still alive, Yo Gotti's name would be quickly involved, I believe. Now, it's not stopping him from getting his name involved, because the mere fact that CMG came up so quick and so early in this discussion, Yo Gotti is the head of that organization. He will be coming up in this case. Now, will Cornelius implicate him? Nah, I don't think that Hernandez Govan is gonna implicate him either. I think they are taking money from that side. I think they are taking hush money from that side. You know, the lawyer said that Cornelius Smith's last lawyer had a $50K retainer. That was paid for by CMG. And he admitted that. He did not know exactly who paid for it, as he said. But we know ain't nothing moving over without Yo Gotti giving the okay. Yeah, him and Jook are brothers, and they painted Jook as the number 2 person, CMG. But Jook don't make no calls like that. No, him and Yo Gotti has had shaky relationships throughout their life. And it's a certain trust that Yo Gotti is going to give him, and it ain't that type of trust. not the money side of it. Yo Gotti gotta okay that. Now, Cornelius said that Big Jook, not Gotti, he said Jook put the 100K hit on Dolph. Who had the beef with Dolph? Because during this trial so far, they're trying to make it seem as if Dolph and Jook had the beef because Dolph didn't want to sign to CMG. But really, we know it was all stemming from Big Head's baby mama, who Dolph knocked down. And the mere fact that he wouldn't sign with him was just extra fuel to the fire. But we know this beef is between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph, not Big Jook. Big Jook used to get fronted by Young Dolph. They all know each other. Now, did the beef heighten once there was some diss tracks made, there was some, some insults thrown around to each other's family? Yeah, of course. But this whole thing stems from none other than Yo Gotti. And let's get this clear. Yo Gotti's not going to allow Jook to take out Dolph without him okaying that hit, because it would come back. If Yo Gotti was not involved, he would know that it would come back towards him if someone else did something. So you can best believe and rest assured that Yo Gotti knew what was going on if he wasn't the one writing the play out, calling the play out, calling the audible. He definitely was involved. But anyways, man, Corn said that the day they killed Dolph, they was not going out looking for Dolph. They did not know they was going to come across Dolph. He said they was going out to hit whoever from that side. He pretty much said that it was a bag on everybody from the PRE camp, and they was just going out trying to collect some bread. It was his daughter's birthday. In his own words, he was trying to come up on some money to make her birthday right. So he went on and hopped in the car and went on a mission, not knowing who they might get. Now, I'll be disputing that. I don't believe that's true. Everyone knew that Dolph would be in town around that time. He always is. Everybody knows that they have turkey drives. And someone at Makita's knew Dolph was coming. Am I saying Makita's Cookies is involved? I'm not saying that, but someone over there knew he was coming there. In the words of Brick Wolfpack, he was going there to drop off a deposit for the turkey drive he was going to do in the parking lot, right? So, was he there to get cookies, or was he there to drop off deposit? Now, you see in the video, he's clearly getting cookies. You can see him getting 3 cookies. One disparity is that it's not Raven's mama serving him the cookies. It's the new employee serving him the cookies. And by the way, it's a lot of people turned down that girl in that video saying, she set him up, she could have warned Dolph. Well, first of all, that girl looked just as shocked and surprised as everyone else. I mean, you can't tell somebody how they're going to react when something like that's going on. But it is really, 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 really peculiar that it's really weird that camera panned that way, like I said earlier in this video. I'm not sure if that was just the court's decision not to show Dolph getting shot. Of course, his family was there. It may have been it because it kind of looked like they just moved away from the TV that was playing the video, not necessarily the video. So, I would like to know exactly what was going on with that. But anyways, both could be true. He could have been there to buy cookies and also to drop off a deposit. Now, if he's there to drop off a deposit, there's 2 things to me. So this girl at the counter, I don't think she knew what was going on. If people in Makita's was involved, everyone didn't know what was going on. But I would be positive if someone knew what was going on, Maurice Hill Sr. would knew what was going on. Remember, his daughter said he came to the scene right after it happened. He was holding Dolph. Please stay with me, stay with me. If all this is true, we shall see that video. We shall at least hear that audio. We should hear the audio of him saying that if they're not going to show the video of him holding Dolph and saying that. So is that true? Yes or no? We're gonna get to the bottom of that. Now, hopefully, we get to the bottom of that on day 2. But if Maurice Hill Sr. knew he was coming, what Brick Wolfpack was saying was true, that he was dropping off deposit, you would think that one of the owners would be there to get it. Maybe that's why Maurice Hill Sr. was on his way to that cookie shop from the other shop, or wherever he was coming from. That would explain that. Why he showed up right in the nick of time. And it also would be that room for someone to set Dolph up. Maurice Hill Sr. is connected to the streets. Cato 2 times. His brother, Maurice Hill Jr. is connected to some guys in the streets from Chula Mafia side. So it could be very well, he could have been that one to set him up. He had to know he was coming if he was dropping off a deposit. So if that part is true, then he knew he was coming. So I'm not saying that Makita's cookie shop set him up, but it's a possibility that Maurice Hill Sr. knew he was coming and could have tipped somebody off for sure. To cover everything up, it looks to me as if Jook was that sacrificial lamb. And I said it in one of my previous videos, man. But go back and watch it, man. And on Booker Street TV, I told y'all that the murder of Jook it could very well have been 50-50. It's up in the air. Was it revenge on Dolph, or was it to merely get him out the way because they know that it would lead to Yo Gotti being taken down? And that's the head of the snake on that side. So, Jook may be labeled as Unc in this situation, because if we merely going off he say, she say between the defendants, then I'm going to put my eggs in the basket and say they're going to definitely say it's Unc, unless they have text messages, phone calls, or something like that revealing who Unc really is. And I told y'all who I think it really is now. Like I said, shout out to Justice for Dolph for that video he showed. I think it definitely is that gentleman. But they're definitely going to put it on Jook if there's no hard evidence of that. His name just entered this conversation real quick on day 1. It just looks like they're going to put everything on Jook. And that whole narrative of them wanting to get him out of the way because he wouldn't sign, everybody in Memphis ain't signed to CMG. It's a lot of people huge coming out of Memphis. All of them ain't signed to CMG, so that's irrelevant. Like I said, we all know what the real beef was. Also, another thing about this video that kind of, I just can't wrap my hand around is that if Dolph entered that building, okay, if he was there, let me backtrack. If he was there to drop a deposit off, they would know he was coming. Okay, even if Maurice Hill Sr. ain't there, I would think that he would tell someone with more experience than the person who's been there for 2 weeks that Dolph's coming. Make sure y'all, come out there and talk to him, greet him. Even if he didn't tell him and he walked in and someone in the back knew Dolph was out there, you telling me nobody else would have came out there and be like, hey, what's up, Dolph? Appreciate you coming. None of that. None of the brand ambassadors, not Raven, not nobody. Raven, you ain't come out and say nothing? Nobody came out and said nothing? Well, Raven claims she wasn't there. But anyway, nobody came out and said nothing. That's just a little suspicious too. That boy Cornelius, he said that he was supposed to get paid $40,000. And for him, that was a lot of money. Like he said, he had told his baby mama he was going to buy him a house. It was his daughter's birthday. He was going to do X, Y, and Z. And this man ended up getting only $800 for the assassination of a very important man, a great role model and a pillar of his community. $800 to take a man's life. Like, this right here is why this man is singing to the point he's singing it now. But is he singing the truth, or is he just singing a narrative that CMG wanted him to sing? You know what I'm saying? That's the question that I have. So, tell me what you think about what's going on so far. Man, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, cut on that post notification. And, man, we'll talk about this more as this case goes on. Long live Dolph, long live Flipper. Put them Dolphins in the comment section, man. Until next time, YouTube, one.
Talking all that.